Today's guest is Tammy Cho, and I want to read her bio to you and then we'll get started. Tammy Cho is a body whisperer, self-love embodiment guide, and psychosomatic therapist coach, international best-selling author, speaker, and CEO of The Path to the Heart. Her mission is to awaken humanity to embody their self-love and acceptance and live in alignment to their higher purpose and the deepest truths of who they are. Having served as a registered nurse and in the psychospiritual industry for 20 years, Tammy blends neuroscience and metaphysical laws, emotional leadership, and energetics of manifesting, and to support high achievers to create impact and abundance without exhaustion and self-sacrifice, and with more balance and ease. Tammy specializes in self-love embodiment, life purpose discovery, co-creative goal actualization, and cultivating human potential. Tammy weaves a proven face and body analysis system and psychospiritual modalities to uncover subconscious challenges and dissolve patterns at the mental, physical, and emotional levels to help women create energetic alignments and to open and receive the next level of joy, fulfillment, and success with more inner ease and harmony. Well, welcome, Tammy.
Thanks for having me, Jill. Congratulations on your 60th episode. I'm happy to be that 60th for you.
It is special. It takes a lot of work to get that far. So
yes.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes.
Just to kind of get the people off to start so they get to know, well, how did Tammy end up on this show? Well, Tammy and I both belong to a group that is being mentored through Jules Vitality, and she's okay. She has a Positive Impact TV, and she's a PR specialist, and she's a really neat lady. So, Tammy, you want to tell them a little bit about the summit we were just in?
Sure, I'd love to, Jill. So me and Jill, we met at the Self-Love, Self-Care and Confidence Summit, right? And we're just, I guess, drawn to the title of it. We're drawn to Jews. And we had the privilege of meeting each other, holding hands in a 3-hour summit where we just poured our heart and soul to support people, to encourage people, and to bring them back to themselves. And so, it was a very beautiful way that Jill and I have met, and perhaps continue to meet as this the summit is evergreen. So,
right, and so Jules set this up so that we had a lot of time before the summit to get to know the other summit speakers. So when we got to the actual event, yes, there were some guests, but we heard each other's expertise. He gave it back and forth to each other, and it was one of the most connective and the most learning I've ever done at a summit before. So you can find it on YouTube under Jules Vitality. I have some clips from it on mine. I'm sure Tammy has some things on her site as well. So, Tammy, Path to the Heart. What led you to those words, and what was your path to get there?
Yeah, I love to share, Jill. For me, it honestly started one day for me when I was, working as a nurse one day, and I started having heart palpitations and a squeezing in my chest, and my hearing was going fuzzy, and I was starting to taste of fear in my mouth, right? And I just couldn't breathe, and I ended up being wheeled off to emergency in front of all my coworkers at that time, and that was a big wake-up call for me. And even though leading up to that event, I knew that I had to take time off, all right? And I knew that I was experiencing high anxiety and all these things, but I couldn't get, myself to let go, and on this journey of inner self-discovery and hitting another big milestone of having my baby and feeling totally disconnected to her as she did something really cute for the first time. And if it, wasn't for someone, a community nurse actually sitting next to me on my sofa, next to me in my kitchen, in my living room, I wouldn't have even knew like how disconnected I was. And so it propelled me on this journey, Jill. It got me going to trying to master the mind and figure it out. And then I went into energy work and, from layers of Reiki to shamanism. And I noticed that once I stopped doing energy healing and all this stuff, I still experienced the anxiety, depression I was experiencing, and I was still chronically burning out. And it really wasn't until I got into my body, did 5 years of emotional, spiritual healing, coming back to the body, learning psychosomatic therapy, where everything shifted, all the pieces came together. And and I'll just say, like, pat to the heart dropped in when I was essentially in my own healing space, and I got this download from the universe that I was meant to do this. And it was just really clear to me that I just couldn't say no. I had to listen, Jill.
Oh, well, I too have gone through one of those dissociative states, and it's not very fun. Would you like to explain it to our audience, just in case they haven't heard that term before?
Yeah, sure. So like for many of us, and I'll just use my story as an example, is that it's like there's a part of me that knew what I needed to do, but I couldn't emotionally let go. And to take care of myself, I think a lot of us are very smart. We know what we're supposed to do to take care of ourselves. At some level, though, sometimes there is a resistance within ourselves to let ourselves move forward and take action. And so for me, often it comes back to this place within ourselves that I was wearing this mask of, I need to be put together. I need to like take care of everyone around me. And we develop these patternings of needing to numb out or tolerate things for, even though, it's fine, it's okay, right? And we create what is like a bit of a numbing effect, would you say? Like that we forget that we actually deserve more, that we deserve more space, attention, self-love, self-care. And that process of forgetting or putting things under the rug and forgetting how to make ourselves important, all that toleration numbing, that's what that dissociative is, how I see in my clients and how I've been relating it to it myself. And so I hope that's clear in my explanation.
And I bet you some of our women in our audience have done something similar. They may or may not have heard that word, but when you say numbing, what are some typical things that women like to do to numb out?
Yeah, sure. A lot of common ones is over binging on Netflix. A lot of us actually, we tend to live in our heads versus in our body. And so what does that look like, right? Like it's doubting ourselves consistently. It's overthinking, needing to be perfect, self-doubt, all the mental chatter. And often we don't connect that, but all those symptoms, when we are there constantly and living our life that way, we're actually not in our bodies. And so that's one of the ways we actually numb out, because we don't want to feel that maybe that thing hurts. Some of the other ways are obviously, medications, like, drinking wine every day, or socializing and talking about our problems, but not necessarily taking any action. It could look a variety of different ways, depending on, often it's fulfilling a need of connection with my friends, or like it's relaxing to watch Netflix versus dealing with maybe what is going to bring us to our next level of happiness. And so,
Right.
So I hope that paints a good picture for everyone. It just looks very different and can be very sneaky sometimes.
Right, it can be. And you mentioned something in there a minute ago, is it's wonderful to have somebody to talk to when you have a problem, but if you slide into that victim modality and you keep saying it over and over and over to the next 20 people, you are getting some strokes back, which sometimes that may be the only reinforcement you're getting. But it's not a healthy connection. It doesn't help you move forward. And that's what you have to be willing to do, is willing to make the changes. And they can be tough, but avoiding them ends up with a lot of other side effects that you really don't want to get into.
Yeah, it's so true, Jill.
Yeah. I noticed when Tammy was speaking at our summit, she's got this path to the heart is certainly a good choice of a name for her. Excuse me a second. Because whenever she speaks, or if she does some sort of a practice example for you, that you feel a softness coming on, you feel a gentleness, and that love comes through. So, Tammy, would you like to talk about maybe the free gift that you want to offer?
Yeah, I could definitely they offered I could bring that up at the end, or you want me to just share it now?
Share it now, because it kind of explains where you're going.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and thank you for that, Jill, and speaking about the energy that I do bring to people. As some of you may have caught at the beginning, that I do face and body analysis, and a lot of times it's when we're wanting that, loving relationship, or that connection, loving connection, with friends, whatever it is, or the next level of income. It's often these things within ourselves, that things that we're numbing, that are in the way of actually letting it in. And so the face and body is a beautiful way. It's a very tangible way, because all of us have a body, and we might as well learn what it's actually saying to us, because our body is actually speaking to us through our own facial features, through the shape of our body, through our posture and how we walk. Like, all these things are actually speaking about these subconscious patterns that we're not necessarily directly looking at, but it's actually affecting our body. And when we're not taking the time to connect and understand ourselves over time, it's actually these exact blocks that we're putting under the covers and not addressing, that actually manifest into, consistent sprains, to chronic conditions, to dis-ease in the body. And so I'm really passionate about this, because it's one thing to know, oh, my eyes mean it's my heart, and my nose is like, my confidence, or things like that. Like, we take that in at a very head space, a mind space of like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then we move on. And what I do that I think it's very important is to be able to hold space for someone to drop into themselves, to come back to the body, to really see these parts within ourselves that we've been maybe running away from, we're not wanting to look at, and to come face to face with it, because we can't change anything that is not conscious. And so one of the gifts I do offer to people is to start this journey of connecting to themselves is a free class, a guide to discover what your face shape says about you, and to really see what benefits you could receive from it, and to see changes that you can experience in the body visually by actually doing this deeper loving work within ourselves. So that's the gift I would like to offer everyone on the show, that I will give Jill the link so everyone could get access to it.
Right.
Yeah. And I hope that's landing with everyone who's listening, to understand this connection. Our body, our mind, heart, soul is all one. And sometimes we forget about it. We forget about that it's all one thing, and we can't separate ourselves to fix this and fix that, and not bring ourselves together as a whole.
Right. Yes. It takes a little while if you haven't heard those terms, but once you get into it, you'll just love it and know how the value of it. I know that's how it hit me. Somebody told me about going for a massage and asking for an energy treatment, and from that day on, my life changed, and there was never any going back. So, But Tammy, thank you for your gift. And we talked about maybe doing some sort of a practice or example with me. If you have one in mind, or you can do the facial one, whichever one you want to do is fine.
Yeah, I remember you talking about places of your throat that was coming up for you from a memory, right? And yeah, and this is like when I work with someone, I bring them into witness, into what that is, and maybe there's another thing for you that's coming up, Jill. But
No,
essentially,
that's one that I've worked the most on, so I'm curious.
yeah. And so the space of our throat has a lot to do with our emotionality, being the ability to express like deeper emotions, and the tissue that's actually around our throat. It speaks to the quantity of words and emotions that we've held back within ourselves. And often it's also a place, Jill, within ourselves that it's places where we're not wanting to let in more, because it's a place of manifestation and letting things come in and accepting a new reality for yourself. And so, and I just want to check in with you, Jill. How is that landing for you?
And that's landing. It's obvious it would be about words, and that there could be lots of words waiting to come out, but also as a receptive place. That's kind of a new. I keep going. I've been on the edge of a new level, on the edge of the new level, and it's like there's no more level left. The old level's gone, and it's really okay. I can go in. It's all right to go in. When are you going to get in there? Kind of a. That's where I've been the last 6 months. So
Yeah, and that's beautiful that you're bringing that connection of those pieces in your life. And Jill, I would ask you, is that in the moments of the newness coming in and just feeling that coming into your body right now, of what is it that you want, and to really feel that, and have you allowed yourself to even speak this to yourself about what is it that you want for yourself?
yeah, hello. I want to encourage women, and I want to travel, and I need to want to put those together. And that's kind of like a mission, but I'm also getting, you love creative and you have a creative project. Don't forget don't forget you. Don't forget doing the women is certainly fulfilling, and it's been there for a long time, but it's like don't don't get so busy with that part that you don't do the creative that you want. You can pull them together, that's okay, but don't forget that part, because that's what your heart needs.
Yeah. And so I'm hearing that you have allowed yourself to speak those words to yourself. And as you're speaking the words to yourself, I'm noticing that in this moment of time, there's a closing of your mouth. There's a part of you that is not, it's holding it in and withholding. And just take a breath into that. And so all these places within you, Jill, is calling you back to a deeper part of yourself, of not fully understanding it, what it is for you, but allowing yourself to receive it, to actually feel the feelings of already having it. Just allow your mouth to listen. Yeah, it's just these patterns we're holding that you have the power to let go. And every moment, because Jill, if I were to do a faceplate and put two sides of your left side of your face together, I can see that there's a part of you that's holding a lot of grief, of not allowing yourself to step into the true person, soul, that your heart's calling you to be. And take a breath into that, Jill. Notice any sensations that are coming up in your body.
Recently, I've let go of a lot on my left side. I've softened what's left on the right side, but it's not quite gone.
And so there's a space of just honoring all that you've stepped forward to have done already. Honoring the search that you are looking for yourself. Taking a breath to let that in. And allowing which parts, it's your left side, hand, leg.
The whole left side has let go of everything, and the right side has hugely softened. There's just a little bit left, and I need to let go of that last little bit, because when I let go of the left, it was a relief. I wasn't carrying all that extra. I want to get rid of this side too, so I'm not carrying that. So I have freedom to go forward with what I want to go forward with.
Yeah, and it is a deeper integration of these parts of you. And so in your embodiment in the now, Jill, really allow yourself to sway side to side in your body, and really allow yourself to breathe, and just really communicating at a subconscious level to your body that you're setting this intention to help, like, these parts are not separate, and to bring them together. Just keep on breathing and accepting yourself in this moment.
Yep.
Sorry to sorry. Like, it's almost like affinity sign, really letting yourself flow. Let it be easy, Jill. Just notice what your body is saying to you. What is the sensations?
What it's saying is the left side had to do with my mom. The right side was relationship, and this piece in the middle was all I allowed me. And that's where I've done the work. And as I've done it, it's healing this side feels like it's cleaned up. And this side is right down to the tail ends. But it's this middle part that I had major surgery there. And it's finally, I don't have to beat myself up for needing it. I don't have to beat myself up for being in that position. I've done the healing work. I can take up all of me. I don't have to be part somebody else.
No, you don't, Jill.
And it's like that part that criticizes. It's like, just hold that part. It's the part of the unhealed masculine that feels it's gotta like put you down. It's just holding that criticism. It's like, I love you anyway. It's when the masculine feels safe, allowing this softer energy that is your gift to hold both parts at one time. Just relax, I see you. I see all you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is the type of work that Tammy does with people, and I know perhaps you were going along with me at home and letting her words touch you. I don't know if you did or you didn't. Maybe you can on a replay. But as she worked with me, I could feel the warmth, and I couldn't always hear the words, but I could feel that it's working. I could feel, okay, you don't have to be limited to that just little eye space in the middle, that you can be all of you. And if you don't, although you care about other people, they're not supposed to take up all your life. This is your life, and it's yours for a reason, because we're here for a purpose. We have to claim all of that person, whether it's their creative side or their silly side or whichever piece it is. And we need to take in all of that. So, Tammy?
And Jill, one of the ways I process energy is that I burp and release, and I just want to allow you to know, to let you know that as you're speaking this on this podcast, the tremendous courage and vulnerability, and as you allow yourself to speak this, your energy started moving. And so it started, and I could feel it sort of opening up and shifting. And so, yes, it's so important to speak your truth. It's all about truth, receiving, allowing yourselves just to.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can feel it kind of like spreading out, and it's and knowing where my scars are, I know it's reaching like to cover over them with like a healing wave.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To the listeners out there, like I spoke when Tammy was in the summit, and what you just witnessed there, she has a very, very gentle nature, and from her years of nursing, she has a way to help people through lots of different things, and yet now she's tweaked who she is to incorporate more of this inner part so that it serves people. And the sample gift is a little mini course. It's very straightforward. It's very informative, and it talks about the shape of your face and what it means. And I recommend that you click on it and check it out. It's easy, it's short, and yet it's very informative. If anyone in our audience, we're kind of coming to an end right now, but if anybody in our audience was feeling that dissociation or what has been numbing out or, knows some emotional things are kind of stuck in them somewhere, well, I want you to speak to them directly and just say, what it is they can do or what is it you're noticing and just a simple way to first step.
Thank you, Jill. And I will just sort of add at the end here is that it's so important for Jill and whoever's on this healing path where you are feeling healing and letting go, and you're opening up space to receive more in your life. Just recognize and be really conscious what you choose to fill the space with. It's based on the law of vacuum, that if you create space, it's going to automatically fill with something. And so be really conscious and loving with what you choose to fill yourself up with. And so this is a mix of my healing work and stepping into coaching, is that it's so important to bridge the two, because there's healing and then there's maintaining and being able to hold your transformation. That is missing in a lot of people that are just focusing on the healing. So it's just a common challenge I see that I just want to speak into the space. Thank you, Jill, so much for this time and space and for your vulnerability. I so appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you for being my guest. So I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and thank you.